She thought her life would be a fairy tale when she became the heroine of a cheesy third-rate novel. She is a beautiful peasant girl with the kindest heart in the world who actually turned out to be a holy maiden. Thanks to her, the protagonist Sucre became a great warrior defending the world from the Demon King. But naturally, things could not be so great. Sucre is the protagonist of this novel, currently her boyfriend, and later he will become the warrior hero who loves her. She thought her life would be beautiful if she continued living like this. However, life was never easy. As the warrior's name became more and more famous, she began to be kidnapped, harassed, intimidated, and suffer all kinds of crimes. The only thing she could do was wait for the warrior to appear and save her. But seeing him flirt with other girls, she realized that not everyone could be a heroine according to the original story. Today was the day they were going to kidnap her, so she told the boy that she had something to tell him. Being a false heroine, she tried to stick to the original story. Today is the day she kisses Sucre for the first time, who will save her after being kidnapped. However, the girl said, asking him to break up because this farewell was much more spectacular than the first kiss. The protagonist of this novel was a particularly good-natured person, but she did not want to be like the protagonist. She did not want to be exposed to all kinds of crimes, so she threw away the cards that came to her again. On the contrary, she dreamed of a happy life with a man who only loved her. She realized that to do so, she had to get rid of Sucre, and then she wouldn't have to play saint. She persuaded herself that she would not give in to any supplications. She had a slight apprehension that things might not unfold as planned in the novel. However, if word got out that she was a saint, her life would never be normal. Her thoughts were interrupted by the manager, who noticed her diligent work as always. In response, she explained that she had already completed everything due to having ample free time, and offered her assistance with any other tasks. The manager informed her about a recent transcription job and asked if she would like to give it a try, presenting a stack of documents from her bag. Since breaking up with Sucre, her life had become much calmer, and she believed it was time to focus on making money and let go of unnecessary worries. Unlike the novel's heroine, this life was solely hers. The manager, aware of the girl's consistent performance, expressed no concerns but emphasized the importance of meeting the deadline. It was challenging to find individuals who possessed reading and writing skills, as most commoners lacked these abilities. However, those with such skills were highly sought after and considered highly qualified workers. Upon returning from work, the girl felt content as she had received her salary. She contemplated treating herself a little, considering that she had been eating plain barley bread for the past few days and felt her stomach becoming hardened. The idea of buying soft white bread for a change crossed her mind. However, she spotted Lady Vika walking by and realized that engaging in meaningless conversations with her would consume the entire hour, making it impossible to keep up. Just as she was about to turn and flee, she caught a glimpse of Sucre emerging from the other side. Who would have anticipated such a dreadful encounter? Deciding that a mouth that wouldn't close was preferable to the anguish of a lover, she made her way towards the clingy Mrs. Becky. The girl wondered where Maze was going and expressed her concern since she hadn't seen her in a while. However, the woman provided a lot of unnecessary information. The girl smiled and mentioned that Maze was improving every day. She then asked the woman where she came from. In response, the woman talked about her younger cousin's failed love life and how her cousin's cousin was searching for a suitable partner. The woman described a man who was around Maze's age, handsome, educated, and worked as a civil servant. The girl wondered if the woman was hinting at a potential marriage for her. She hadn't been able to ask about it before, but now that the conversation had shifted, she admitted that he wasn't very trustworthy. The girl didn't understand if it was normal for the woman to speak negatively about someone's ex, but the woman continued to criticize him, mentioning his unknown origin, mediocre job, and lack of attractiveness. The girl thought that if he were a character in a fantasy novel, he would lose everything if his warrior rank was taken away. Despite knowing that the boy had a bad reputation, the girl apologized for their breakup. She found it absurd that he still tried to act like the hero of a story, even though he had given up that title. The woman insisted that he was a good person who could lead a normal life. The The girl wanted to avoid the typical happy ending of a novel, but the woman informed her that everyone would know about Seikel's flirtations with other women. She suspected that he would start dating the princess next, now that they had broken up. The woman looked at her with surprise and concluded that Maze would be alone forever. She advised the girl that if she didn't have feelings for Seikel, the best thing for her would be to get married. The girl reassured the woman that everything was fine and noticed her persistent insistence, and she wanted to express her thoughts about Miss Beck's statement. Miss Beck continued by saying that she wasn't trying to pressure her, but rather she just wanted them to meet once, as he was a genuinely great guy. The girl thanked Miss Beck for her concern and explained that she couldn't give an answer at that moment. She was currently trying to distance herself from Seer. The woman bid her goodbye and walked away, and Maze forgot that Seer was behind her. She didn't even know how to describe the awkwardness she felt when she unexpectedly ran into her ex, whose feelings for her hadn't cooled down, when they greeted each other. The boy asked if he had heard correctly, and if Miss Beck was only talking about the new man. Maze replied that it wasn't his concern, but he couldn't understand how he was supposed to stay calm when she was seeing someone else. However, she reminded him that they had already broken up and he should focus on his own life. The boy started crying, promising that he would recover and pleading with her not to be so cruel. Maze realized that she had probably moved on from him when she cut all ties, but she didn't understand what he wanted from her, as she knew his true nature. She asked if he's still meeting up with Haley in the forest, and before the boy could justify himself, Maze interrupted him. She explained that she knew it wasn't his fault, as he had accidentally saved Haley once. When she was trapped in the forest, Haley had then made him dinner as a thank you, and she had kissed him and expressed her gratitude. She was certain that Hay was being playful, but the boy should have been outraged because she was dating him at the time. If he had considered her feelings, he wouldn't have taken it so lightly. The worst part was that he continued dating her and never rejected her unfriendly advances. In accordance with the original narrative, prior to the arrival of the True Knights, Sucre found himself entangled with 3 women. His official girlfriend, Maze, village chief daughter Haley, who initially disliked him. Additionally, Princess Marigold, who sneaked out of the palace, became involved with him. Sucre responded that he would be willing to break up with Haley if it meant he couldn't be without her. However, the girl interrupted him, mentioning that he had another girl and inquired if he had recently met a nice girl with silver hair. Sucre and the princess became friends as he assisted her in locating a lost item. Notably, they even exchanged strands of hair, a gesture typically reserved for lovers. All of these events unfolded while they were together, and the hair exchange presented Sucre with the opportunity to potentially become an official royal knight in the future. Later on, it was revealed that he was the son of the kingdom's finest prosecutor. The boy halted her, stating that he could explain everything because he believed she was making these claims solely out of lingering love and jealousy. However, the girl refused to listen to his excuses, as they had already broken up and it no longer made sense. She was no longer jealous because, in reality, she had grown weary of it all. There were instances when she attempted to fix Sucre, envisioning a happier life if she could alter certain aspects of his character and behavior to achieve perfection. Ultimately, through trial and error, she came to the realization that changing a person was impossible. As long as events followed the novel's plot, the same mistakes would be made repeatedly, and the forgiving Maze would continue to pardon them. However, she did not desire a life like that because she genuinely believed she was happy and hoped it would remain so. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. She couldn't trust his heart anymore and admitted that she no longer loved him. She didn't want to keep lying and realized the importance of her ordinary life with her friends and family after losing everything. She needed someone to fill the emptiness in her heart, because nothing in this world could replace what she had lost. The person standing in front of her with a great warrior diploma wasn't the one. She felt let down because he didn't notice the scars from the previous kidnapping. She believed that one day he would become successful and loved by many, but she didn't want to be one of them. She wanted to meet someone who only loved her. So, she asked him to peacefully separate without any conflicts and let her go. She sat down to talk with her friend and revealed that she was no longer dating Sucre. It turned out that there were rumors about Sucre hanging around her house like a lost dog. Mrs. Bika eventually let him in. Everyone knew that all the gossip in town went through her. The rumors would continue until Maze met the boy she was talking about. She thought about the dress she would wear and sighed heavily as she tried to explain to her friend what it meant. She thought it might be called the freedom you feel when you're not in a relationship. Sometimes she said strange things because she thought differently or because she was unique. Many people understood her. Her friend Sarah asked if she had really broken up with Sucre. If that was the case, Sarah suggested going on a blind date. However, Sarah confessed that she was actually organizing a date with John from the neighboring town. After everyone found out about her breakup, they suggested he take her out there. Maze didn't understand why everyone was trying to set her up with someone. She couldn't understand why she couldn't make it through the day without considering the idea of dating someone else after breaking up with Sucre. The problem was that the only guys she could remember from the novel were Sucre, her rival, and the Demon King. So she told herself that she was fine the way she was, but now she wanted to be alone and try to build a comfortable and independent life. Then she realized that the protagonist's ex couldn't possibly be dating her rival or the Demon King. Her friend suggested that she should try dating someone new because they said that new love would help her forget the old one. But Maze realized that she had nothing to forget, and if she had to choose between writing or her ex, she would choose writing. Sarah continued explaining to her that girls didn't need to start dating anyone. They just wanted to have fun. At the end of the day, it would be nice to meet new people. Before getting married, Maze had to live her life to the fullest so that Sucre wouldn't have a second chance, and she had to move on to make things equal. Initially, Sarah was going to go with Haley, but she ended up running away with Sucre. But Maze also felt like it would be an insult to Miss Bika. However, Sarah offered a solution to the problem. She suggested that Maze could go on both dates at the same time since they didn't overlap. Plus, she didn't have a boyfriend. Sarah explained that this is how blind dates worked. If they liked someone, they would go out. If they didn't like someone, they wouldn't go out and everything would be fine. They shouldn't worry and should take things more calmly. Sarah continued saying that they would just have a meal together, and if Maze met a good guy, they could start dating, which was great. Maze realized that since she had always been with Sucre, she had never had the chance to make friends. She wondered if she could really take it lightly. Sarah embraced her tightly and assured her that it would be an enjoyable experience. She whispered that she was actually the only one who hadn't been on a blind date yet because her life was too innocent. Although she had never been on a pre-wedding interview in her previous life, she had been on a blind date before, and the outcome had been quite disappointing. The girl arrived at the cafeteria earlier than expected, thanks to Mrs. Beck, who had knocked on her door at 7 in the morning to inform her about the pre-wedding interview. Mrs. Beck had advised her to arrive early to ensure punctuality. So, the girl decided to grab a snack and ordered a strawberry smoothie and a special sandwich. She sat down to savor the incredible flavors when a peculiar guy approached her. The girl looked at him, unsure of how to address him since Miss Beck hadn't provided his name. All she knew was that he was a relative of her cousin who worked as a civil servant and was searching for a girlfriend. They introduced themselves, and the girl discovered that the guy's name was Ice. He also complimented her, and she noticed that he had large hands and impeccable manners, and realized that she didn't feel entirely comfortable in his presence. She didn't know what to do or how to behave. However, the boy reassured her, saying that he was also not there by choice and wouldn't pressure her. He asked her to relax. The girl turned to him and confessed that she had heard he was looking for a girlfriend, which made her a little nervous since she had no experience with guys like him. When she asked him why he had come, he explained that it wasn't anything special. His mother had insisted that it was an opportunity to meet a good people, so he had agreed to go. It wasn't a big deal because, in this world, you never know. You can't argue with mothers. Her mother had a similar personality and she was jealous of him because he got to see his mother every day. However, but kept apologizing for almost not coming today, expressing the regret for almost missing the chance. This made her feel embarrassed. The girl was enjoying herself, but it would have been even better if she had finished her meal. She couldn't indulge in a mukbang during the pre-wedding interview. There's a saying that if you don't finish your meal, you'll end up in hell. As she looked at the table, he noticed that her sandwich looked appetizing and asked if he could try it. He exclaimed that it was delicious and the best sandwich he had in a long time. She tried to hide her anger. The guy ordered a cup of coffee and asked if the girl wanted anything else, but she shamelessly said she wasn't hungry. Then the guy added 2 more sandwiches to his order, requesting one of them to be cut into small pieces. The girl didn't notice. She couldn't tell if she was at a picnic or a pre-wedding interview, and when she looked at his face, she saw her ex because he had the same dark complexion and brown eyes, as well as the same lack of tact. When the sandwich arrived, he asked the waitress to place it next to the girl because she had given him hers, considering it as compensation. Even though he was full, he felt a bit uncomfortable eating alone and asked for some company. However, she realized that the guy was quite handsome, but his reputation was tarnished. But it is being rebuilt. Obviously, it had nothing to do with the sandwich situation. Mrs. Bika wouldn't expect the conversation to take that turn, but they had a great time together. She also noticed that Ise was quite attentive. For instance, he barely touched his food and her plate was empty. The girl mentioned that she loved dogs and her dream was to have one in the future. She envied the boy and asked if he had a portrait of his pet. He replied that he did have a portrait, but his pet wasn't that easy. She suggested setting up a meeting with his pet, claiming that it was quite large and well-trained not to harm anyone except enemies. The boy observed her frequent smiles and inquired if she always interacted with such cheerfulness. She replied affirmatively, stating that few people disliked smiling faces and that smiles were delightful. Maze found it a bit odd to discuss this during a pre-wedding conversation, but she processed to ask about his experience working as a government official. She revealed that she had not informed anyone about her intention to take the government official test, surprising him with the sudden shift in topic. As most girls her age in novels dreamt of marrying well. However, she clarified that her goal was financial stability and a simple life, rather than the typical aspirations of her peers. The concept of a conventional household lacked appeal to her. Consequently, she had never contemplated her future aspirations, leading to wasted hours pondering aimlessly. Those ordinary days were always her life. The guy never envisioned Maze having a specific career path, given her circumstances. She found herself in a challenging situation, as conforming to societal norms proved to be the most difficult task. Despite the peculiarity of the situation, he offered to assist her in pursuing a royal government official. Maze was taken aback by his proposal, expressing concern about causing him trouble. However, she acknowledged that his help would be beneficial, especially considering the challenging nature of the exam. He made it clear that he would require something in return for his assistance, a promise that she would not disclose her ambition to become to anyone, and keep it between them. And for a brief moment, she believed that his eyes seemed red. However, she thought he was taking a major loss. He reassured her that it was not the case and that he had no ulterior motive in helping her. He simply saw it as an opportunity to forge a genuine friendship. Despite their recent acquaintance, they felt a strong sense of comfort in each other's presence, leading him to believe that they could become good friends. He acknowledged that the girl might find it difficult to maintain their friendship in the future, considering his lack of social connections due to his busy schedule with studies. Nevertheless, he remained hopeful that they would develop a lasting friendship. The girl regarded him with intensity, expressing her concern if their friendship would become burdensome for him. The boy assured her that it would never be the case, and they sealed their agreement with a firm handshake. Although she couldn't shake off a slight sense of foreboding, Maze gained a friend during her first pre-wedding interview, unaware of the regret that would follow. One day, they found themselves in the library, with Ise assisting the girl in understanding and solving complex problems. Maze couldn't believe she was back to studying, but she knew it was necessary for her future stability. Despite feeling somewhat patronized, she found solace in receiving praise for her correct answers, a welcome change from the standardized exams of her past. Maze shared with Ise that he played a pivotal role in her pursuit of her dream career, as she wouldn't have dared to dream of it without his support. However, she couldn't help but feel guilty for neglecting thoughts of her future spouse, causing a sense of unease. Ise reassured her that he had no intentions of dating anyone at the moment and cherished the time they spent together. He considered her a special person in his life. Meanwhile, The girl couldn't help but think that ISE was missing out on the opportunity to make more friends. Initially taken aback by ISE's sudden touch, she let it slide due to his attractive appearance. However, in the end, he chose to simply stroke her head and nothing more because everything was all right. The boy believed that Maze had many friends, but she clarified that she didn't have many close friends. However, recently they had been spending more time together and growing closer. It was one of the benefits of breaking up with her ex and expanding her social circle. She even promised to attend Sarah's party tomorrow night, which wasn't a big deal since she and the girls were planning to gather at Sarah's house, indulge in candy, and chat all night. They believed that people were more relaxed at night and would have revealing conversations in their pajamas. He glanced at the girl and admitted feeling hesitant to ask while she was busy studying, but he wanted to know how they used to address each other as friends. Maze explained that they usually called each other by their first names without using respectful titles, and she and her friends still do so. However, she mentioned that people became closer when they dropped the formalities. He desired a more informal and intimate connection with her, so he repeatedly called her by name while sitting in front of her. He hoped that the more he said her name, the more comfortable it would become. The girl thought that if he truly wanted her to get used to it, he should have communicated without using prefixes and refrained from repeating her name. Nevertheless, since he appeared so happy, she decided not to say anything because everything was fine. After their hard work, they decided to go out for dinner together, and that night the girl savored the most exquisite food she had ever tasted. She realized that if she had the money, she would have bought the entire restaurant. However, he refrained from eating much because she enjoyed watching the girl eat. She pondered whether the chef of the restaurant was married. The food was so delicious that she even contemplated proposing to the chef. If she married him, she could relish those divine dishes forever. The girl continued speaking, but upon noticing Izzy's downcast and sorrowful expression, she started explaining that it was all just a joke. She wanted him to understand that it wasn't as simple as it seemed. She clarified that she still didn't want to date anyone and hoped he would comprehend. She explained that she could only change her mind if she found inner peace and relaxation. The boy tried to convey to her that work wasn't the sole source of happiness. He believed that there were many other things to find joy in and that there was no need to solely strive for a stable job. He thought there must be another way to combat loneliness and find stability. However, the girl shut him down, stating that if he meant marriage, it would be better for him to remain silent. Lately, she had been tormented by all those conversations where people asked her why she wasn't married yet. Frustrated, the girl abruptly got up from the table and left, mentioning that she had lost her appetite. SY offered to walk her home, but she didn't feel the need to respond. She believed he would continue regardless of her answer. She went on to express that she felt fortunate to have met him and become friends, but against her will, she had become a woman with a star on her forehead. This star symbolized the expectations placed upon her, as if she were a gift. The first time she was forced to conform was during a pre-wedding interview, and the second time was when she was pressured into considering a rush date. These experiences made her feel like fresh meat for singles and pimps. The girl didn't want to boast, but she was aware that people considered her the perfect girlfriend. She believed that among the nearby towns, she was the sweetest and most beautiful. However, if someone caught her attention, they would harass her with interviews and blind dates, as if she were a Pokemon trainer. This comparison referred to the fact that a trainer needed to gain a Pokemon's trust in order to capture it. Icy realized that if she had rejected all the applicants from the beginning, things wouldn't be so difficult now. Because they believed that since she had agreed once, she would not refuse the others. Perhaps it was because she was at the right age to get married and had recently become close to the other townspeople, leading them to believe that she was more open to the idea. Maze feared. He asked how he could assist her. She chuckled slightly, saying lending her a ear is enough. The boy turned to her and encouraged her to speak her mind. He was willing to do anything for her. He turned to her once again to inquire if she was really okay. She smiled and assured him that she was fine. But he must have known that these types of situations usually peaked and then faded away. She had given it little thought, even though it concerned her life. Maze found it hard to accept that she had traveled to another world. It is worth mentioning that when she slipped and fell off a cliff, Sayaka was the one who saved her. Regardless of how intriguing the story was, she already knew the outcome. She couldn't comprehend how the game's hero could catch her, and she was unsure if she would injure herself if she suddenly stopped falling. Her interest was waning day by day, and even though she was now the protagonist of the novel, she found herself observing as a viewer instead of a character. He realized that she was preoccupied with something else once again, which is why he couldn't leave her alone. She inquires what will happen if he does that. He observed her closely and suggested that they begin dating from that day forward, but Maze was extremely perplexed. She couldn't even fathom how the two of them would meet, so she hoped it was all just a silly joke. The boy clarified that he wasn't joking, that he was very serious, and he couldn't understand why the proposal had to be a joke. Because they were friends, in other words, he got friend-zoned. He became stiff, completely heartbroken. I don't know how he fumbled, because I thought he was the Wizard of Riz. He puts his hand in the air as a sign of defeat and says that's why he's worried. Maisie believed he shouldn't stress too much because even though she was currently going through a rough patch, it would pass soon. With his head hung low, he says that it seemed like she wouldn't attend all those wedding interviews and blind dates. It would be hard for her to apologize for the rejections and come up with different excuses, but Maze thought that in any case, it wouldn't last long and she couldn't do anything about it just because she's exhausted. The boy, on the other hand, thought it was best to accept it as a reality, so he insisted that she should go out with him. The girl didn't know what would change if they became a couple because they both stated that they didn't want to be together, and it seemed odd to her that people who didn't like each other would suddenly become a couple. At least he would be their alibi since flirting with someone who already had a crush was considered negative, and he understood that they had to pretend to be a couple, but she wasn't sure if it was really necessary because this kind of situation would eventually come to an end, and she didn't know what the consequences would be since she realized they would both be upset anyway, and his mother kept pressuring him, so it was beneficial to both of them. The girl understood that if she were in his shoes, her mother would act the same way, and she struggled to comprehend why the woman kept scolding her, which was also a part of her daily life. Noticing that she was lost in thought, he asked what's wrong. She responds it's nothing crazy and it doesn't concern him. The girl realized it was as if she was drawing a line between them, but she couldn't reveal to someone that they were nothing more than a character and part of the story. In any case, she assured him that she wouldn't let other people's opinions distract her anymore, and they would continue their discussion on how to pretend to be a fake couple since they weren't actually going to get married. The boy assured her that they were just waiting for the right time, so she shouldn't worry. He promised that the time they would spend together from now on would be special. However, she didn't quite understand his words. After all, they weren't officially dating, so what was the point of being so dramatic? But since he seemed happy, she didn't mind. But what if they ended up falling in love while pretending to be in a relationship? Will they break up?